Talladega Superspeedway lives up to its name. Of all the closed-circuit motorsports facilities in the world where sanctioned auto races are held, it is the fastest. Constructed by the France family 10 years after Daytona, Talladega was built slightly longer at 2.66 miles with steeper 33-degree banking, which guaranteed record-setting speeds. The pole speed for NASCAR's first race in 1969 was a stunning 199.466 miles per hour, almost 30 miles per hour faster than the Indy cars were then lapping at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Rule changes in 1987 meant that Bill Elliott's 212.809 mile per hour lap will likely stand forever as the qualifying record at Talladega and for NASCAR. Talladega is still the fastest track on the schedule. It holds the record for the fastest 500-mile stock car race at 188.354 miles per hour, Mark Martin's winning speed in May of '97, and produces some of the most exciting racing and door-to-door action every year. Talladega puts on 5 separate race events each year as host to the NASCAR Cup Series, Xfinity, Craftsman Truck, and ARCA Series. But tonight, it's race number 7 of the IROC Challenge Series, and it's next on Track Limits Network. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the virtual Talladega Super Speedway race number 7. The IROC Challenge Series, taking a look at the race details here tonight. Things have changed a bit. We were going to be about 80 laps. Now we have changed things down to about 55 laps. 150 miles the race distance. Track temperature 115 degrees Fahrenheit. Drivers working with a 100% fuel load tonight. 3 sets of tires available over the wall if necessary, but it is Talladega, folks. Probably not going to need them too terribly much, if at all. 1 fast repair is available for the drivers that need it, and 3 attempts at a green-white checkered finish if it comes down to it. Again, everybody, I'm Steve Singer with Track Limits Network, bringing you tonight's action. Practice and qualifying already wrapped up. The final warm-up session in progress. Chris Wally the fastest for now at 51 seconds flat. And it's Mike Koch, Steve Durbin, Neil Quick, Tim Schofield, your top 5. Last bit of drafting practice underway. Just taking a look at the schedule moving forward. So we're going to try and get that to pop up here. Unfortunately, it's not going to roll, but next week we'll be at the Homestead Miami Speedway, second to last race of this second segment, and then the final race of the season, January the 27th, will be at Nashville. Then we switch cars again. We go on to the Cup Series, start things off again at Daytona. Just about halfway through this season 9, again segmented out into 4 different segments this season. Less than a minute in the session. Drivers doing some last-minute pit stop practice, at least entry and exit of pit lane. A lot of time to be gained or lost just getting into and out of pit lane. It's not so much the pit stop time itself, if that's very important as it is, but you can really gain some ground and some track position. Really late on the brakes coming in. Just dancing on the line of that speed limit exiting. Just about done here in the session. We're going to step aside really briefly here. We'll be back with our starting grid after this. Stay with us. All right, back at Talladega Super Speedway. Let's take a look at it. Our starting grid for race number 7 on the pole position with a lap time of 54.378 seconds. It's the 60 of Adam Pettit. Outside front row, missed it by 7/1000ths of a second. It's the 12 of Timmy Schofield. Starting in row 2, Garrett Johnston. His outside will be the 85 of Mike Koch. Row 3, Brandon Mefford and Casey Bentz. Row 4 goes to Brian McCann and Newt Quick. Row number 5 is the 36 of Joshua Mears and Neil Quick to his outside. Starting from the 11th spot will be the 75 of Chris Wally. Jason Nilgis, the number 88 machine, will start from the 12th spot. 13th starter is Todd Kleek. 14th goes to Matt Kopp, the Charity Motorsports number 50. 15th starter is Adam Benefield in the 9. Steve Durbin rolls 16th. 17th starter is Chuck Sweeting in the number 57. Chris Mefford in the 46 starts 18th. And 19th and 20th will be Doug Wysocki and Josh Funkhauser to round out the field here at Talladega Super Speedway. It's your starting grid here from Talladega. Field beginning to roll out of pit lane already here on their 1-of-1 pace lap. Again, race details tonight. 55 laps the race distance, roughly 150 miles. Track temperature 114 degrees Fahrenheit, working with a full load of fuel at 100%. 3 change sets of tires available over the wall. 1 set already on the car, so technically 4 sets to work with here in 55 laps at a place like Talladega. I cannot imagine that even being necessary, so tire strategy likely all but out the window. 1 fast repair to work with, 3 attempts at a green-white checkered finish if it comes down to it. Field out of turn 4. Pace car going to make the hard left into pit lane, and we got a ways to go before we cross the start-finish line and take the green flag. Field will need to go through the tri-oval first, and then at the exit of pit lane. That's about where start-finish is as compared to Daytona, where that start-finish line and flag stand right in the center of the tri-oval. So just slight differences here between the 2 racetracks. Of course, this one a little bit wider, a little bit bigger, and a lot higher banked as well. But green flag is in the air. We're underway from Talladega Super Speedway. Field into turn 3, still coming up to speed. It takes about a full lap to be up at full song, but Pettit still with the race lead. Johnston into the 2nd spot, up 1. Brandon Mefford 3rd with the 12 of Schofield to his outside. Field back around here into the tri-oval for the first time this afternoon. Pettit with the lead. Johnston still in tow. They cross the stripe. The 60 machine will lead it to the outside. Schofield with a big-time run. The 85 of Koch pushing the 12 to the front. Wasn't quite enough to get clear of Pettit. Loses a little bit of momentum out of turn number 2. Big time bump from Koch. Gets the 12 a little bit upset, but he keeps the hammer down. Jumping out of line here just a bit. Neil Quick to the top side and Brian McCann on the bottom. Drivers getting back in line, and 3 wide, a little bit back from the top 6, 7 spots. First full lap in anger completed. Schofield might have led it at the stripe. Still not able to get quite clear of Pettit. Worked through turns 1 and 2 yet again. Pettit with a good help here with the 15 of Johnston on the back bumper. And way up the racetrack goes the 27 of Casey Bentz. Bentz trying to find a way. Must have had a big-time run because he just jumped way up the racetrack in front of Neil Quick and others. They're trying to get that third lane formed, and it's really killed now the middle line with Schofield and Koch. They're going to lose some ground here from the top 3, top 4 drivers. The outside line, just not enough help, not enough numbers, and not enough organization up top to really make anything happen, at least not yet. You see as the track changes throughout the afternoon, the temperature changes as well, as the lines top to bottom may be faster than the other where they were at the beginning of the race. Mefford steps out of line from behind the 15. Now he's got a bit of a run. We'll see if Schofield and Quick will go with him. Outside, a little bit more organized. Now a 6-car group up top. Got to get packed up a little tighter. They can really freight train around if they can get nice and tight, nose to bumper. Chuck Sweeting, a little upset off the bottom of the racetrack, was way down on the apron on the middle of the corner. Drives it back up without incident. Neil Quick on a charge now. He looks to the outside yet again, and he's got some dancing partners. The 4 tucks up in behind. That's Nuke Quick. Still not enough numbers in the top really to get going here. The inside seems to be king for now. Pettit still out in front. Johnston second. Mears now up to third. Brandon Mefford fourth, and Koch hanging on to fifth, and that's going to change about every 15 feet here at Talladega. Except for the top 2, except top 1 now. Pettit out in front. Mears takes over the second position. Johnston slips, changes lanes in front of Brandon Mefford. Back to third, challenging for the second spot yet again. Now Johnston working to the outside of Pettit with some drafting help with Mefford, Schofield. Looks like maybe Steve Durbin in the mix as well. Durbin now steps out. See, that's going to be the problem. You get such a big run. If you just stay connected to that car in front of you, make that one big draft, you're going to fly by the race leaders, but they just can't help themselves. They're racers after all. They want to race. Unfortunately, it just kills the momentum of the line that they're in when they abandon it. Johnston and Mefford are going to have to rely on a little bit of side draft here to stay up with the top 3, top 6. Really, we're 3 wide for the top 6 as we're through the tri-oval. Plenty of room there. At the front now, Durbin crosses the stripe first, moves Pettit back just a couple of spots. Nile just in the 88 up to second. Oh, the 20 goes around. Who is in the 20? Pettit gets a big hit. He smashes the inside wall. 27 of Bentz, Brandon Mefford, many others involved here on the back straightaway. Caution number 1, only 7 laps in. Not sure who's in the 20. Don't see it on my timing and scoring. It looks like it's Jason Nilgis. Okay, so that's Nilgis in the wrong paint scheme this week. Should be in number 88 on the side of that machine. But it looks like he was the first car to start throwing tire smoke. Might have been some contact there. We'll see if we get a peek at exactly what just happened. Just give us a moment. already an incident underway at this point. Let's back it up a little further. Taking a look at it from the blimp here, watch the 20 in the far left of your screen here. He's going to scrape the wall a little tiny bit off of turn 2, which is going to break the momentum enough. Then he gets crossed up. I don't know if that's from him getting into the back of Durbin or if Neil Quick made a little bit of contact. Certainly does there in the checkup from the 20/88. It sends Nile just down the track in front of Johnston, clips the inside of Pettit. Looks like Mears gets a piece of this as well. Nile just still spinning down the track, clips Bentz on the right side door. Again, they do have a fast repair to work with, so this is not day over for these drivers in this incident. As long as they're able to get back to pit lane, they can burn that fast repair and stay in this race. Some drivers opting for tires even this early on. Again, we talked about how it may not necessarily be needed. These big tracks, especially here at Talladega Super Speedway, changing tires really just allows you to be that much more aggressive as far as your lane changes are concerned. You can make more abrupt maneuvers out on the racetrack without being too concerned about the race car stepping out. But as far as your lap time goes, your ability to draft, it's all about the same. So Neil Quick still in the pit, so is Casey Bentz, Jason Nilgis. Adam Pettit also still in his pit box, did not burn the fast repair. Might be trying to use this or save that fast repair and just fix it the old-fashioned way. The only downfall here is gets lapped, he could be in trouble. Leaders are in turn 3, so he's got some time to get back out. So also for reference, you'll see the number 22 in the picture here. It should be the number 50. That's what it shows on the tower, so Tim Schofield going to head down pit lane from second. So is Chris Mefford and Steve Durbin. New Quick goes on by Schofield as they exit pit lane. So race leaders out at turn number 2 here, still behind the iRacing pace car. Your front row is going to be Matt Kopp and Chris Wally. And Wysocki, Johnston, Koch, Funkhauser, Brian McCann, Sweeting, Benefield, Mears. That'll be your top 10. So Chris Mefford and Neil Quick still in pit lane. I'm not sure if they made it out to stay on the lead lap. It looks like Mefford's on his second stop, so I think he's still on the lead lap. I think the only driver that's lost a lap in this is the 2 of Quick. Race car is in. Again, the field are going to have to traverse this tri-oval all the way to its end before the start-finish line. Restart zone about where the start-finish line would be at Daytona.
Green flag, green flag.
Flag in the air. Neil Quick shot out of a cannon, manages to stay on the lead lap, and he was almost at full speed coming to green. So even through that wreck, we still have every car who started this race still in the race, still on the lead lap, still in contention as the field works down the back straightaway. Kopp with the lead. Johnston now up into second, but for how much? Wally there in the middle, and up top it's the 34 of Doug Wysocki. Wysocki with no help topside. He's going to fall back a bit. Going to lose a handful of spots, maybe even 6 positions plus. Kopp maintains the top position. Johnston second. Wally third with the 81 of Funkhauser closing in. Laps on the board. Wally now edges out to the front of the field here. Kopp trying to battle back on the inside, but Brian McCann into the frame here with that black and red number 3. Tucks in behind the 75 of Wally. On to turn 2. This has turned into a sprint race here. A little bit shorter race distance than what we've had in previous events. 150 miles or 150 laps, whichever comes first. Forces these drivers to be in attack mode right out of the gate. Jump on board here with Matt Kopp as he battles with the 75 of Chris Wally for that top position. Looking out the right side window of the 50/22. Kopp out of Pendleton, Indiana. Chris Wally jumping out to the race lead, but still not able to get clear and duck down in front of Kopp. Low line seems to be the dominant place to be for the time being. Relatively equal numbers, top lane to bottom lane. Now that's going to help even out things as far as the draft is concerned. You've got 6 cars up top, about 6 or 7 on the bottom, but they're spread apart more, so a little disorganization on that low side. Still Kopp, a shorter distance to run, being on the low side, a little bit of an advantage in that department. Now Johnston going to push the 22 through the tri-oval, ducks below, almost gets into him. You don't want to make contact, especially in the tri-oval, especially if you're not centered. Very easy to spin these cars out. Tri-oval looks pretty well banked, but nowhere near as steep as turns 1 and 2 and then 3 and 4. level of aggression here at Talladega has come down just slightly after that lap 7 incident. Figured there was a handful of cars that likely burned a faster pair, and now they're out there without that backup plan, without that safety net, so if something does go awry, they're kind of in trouble. In fact, you see Adam Pettit, who's leading this race from pole position early on. We'll take a look here at the 60 machine. He does have some damage still on that car. You can't really see it from this angle. A little bit on the right front there where the hood meets the right front fender. Not going to hurt him too much in the draft when he's got cars ahead of him to break up that air that's hitting the nose of his race car. Well, it's not hitting the nose now. It's hitting the nose of everybody else in front of him and going over the roof. But if he gets out in clean air, the damage to the front of that race car is going to affect him. And you see it even here, just a few car lengths behind the 2 of Neil Quick. He's not able to drive up to the 2 there. He's got to stay tucked in behind a lot of cars. Schofield in behind the 60. I don't know if Tim knows that he's got damage on that 60 machine. In fact, if you look even closer here, maybe we can get close, the nose of that 60 even pushed in a bit. So not a flush surface on the front bumper of Adam Pettit's machine. Right front fender still damaged. He needs to cross his fingers for another opportunity to fix this race car or burn the faster pair, one or the other. Laps complete here from Talladega. Matt Kopp still leads. Chris Wally still to the outside. Chris Wally, we've talked about it so often, a dangerous super speedway driver. He's always in the hunt. Kopp still doing a good job hanging on to that top spot. Now Johnston in behind him. Johnston showed to be a decent pusher early on in this race, at least in those first 6 or 7 laps prior to the caution. Able to push Pettit and keep him out in front. It wasn't until he stepped out from behind the 60 that things got a little crossed up in behind him. That's when that crash ended up happening. I think Johnston and Pettit were both involved in it, as well as Jason Nilgis and others. 3 wide for the top 6 positions as they come back to start-finish to put lap 20 on the board. Johnston out of the line here, drops it way to the bottom of the racetrack. I don't know if he had a moment there or decided it was getting a little too hairy out in front. Again, a short race here tonight, so you don't necessarily want to drop all the way to the tail. You see Johnston tucked back in line here to make sure he does not lose the draft, but he loses a ton of track position. Meanwhile, Chris Wally takes over the top spot with Brian McCann in tow. Matt Kopp, who was out in front, now slips to 3rd, maybe 4th here by the time Neil Quick's done working around him. Schofield in behind the Miller Lite number 2. Coming to the start-finish line, Wally's going to lead the lap. Again, we talked about it just a few laps ago. Chris Wally, certainly no slouch when it comes to racing these super speedways. He performs well here. I lost a race to Wally myself at this place. I think it was here, actually. It was in the truck, however. We had an opportunity. Everybody crashed behind us. Wally got around me, and I didn't have anybody to draft with, and I just didn't have enough to get back around him. He ultimately won the race. I finished 2nd. Wally looking to repeat that effort and win this race here at Talladega, except in the Xfinity car. Now at the stripe, 2 IROC veterans at the front of the field. In fact, 4 IROC veterans at the front of the field. You got Wally, Neil Quick, Schofield, and Brian McCann. Even Matt Kops, if you want to make it 5. On board with Neil Quick. jumps out to the race lead ahead of Chris Wally. We'll see if he can maintain it or get clear into turn 3. Have the momentum or the drafting help to get it done here. Slips back to third as McCann pushes Wally back on by. Matt Kopp jumps to the inside looking for more. Tim Schofield has slipped back a bit now to the 12th position. That's how quickly things can change here on the super speedways. If you step out of line, you lose that draft. You lose 4, 5, 6, 7 mile an hour at least in an instant, and you free fall like you're tied to a tree. Meanwhile, Wally back out in front now. McCann in second. A little wiggle for Matt Kopp. Don't see that very often on the super speedways. Loses the back of the race car just a touch. Slips up the track. Doesn't appear that he lifted at all as he's still tucked in behind the 3. Couple laps shy of halfway here from Talladega Super Speedway. Now, I know we're not at Daytona, but the race length and the number of cars we've got on the track, I tell you, this certainly looks like one of the duels, doesn't it? Oh, Matt Kopp wiggling in the corner again. Speaking of the duels, we're only about 4 weeks out before we're on track at Daytona. For real. Matt Kopp struggling with the handling of that race car. Let's go on board. Look at the driver's eye camera from Matt Kopp. See what he's doing. Listen to his throttle inputs. Is he checking up a bit? He's off and on the gas quite a bit. Listen close. And the caution has come out, likely to be our competition caution. This is just about a lap shy of our halfway stage, halfway point. Yellow on the speedway, no on-track incident to report. So caution number 2, this one just the planned competition caution. Get these guys a bit of a reset, make a plan for the rest of the way. With that, we're going to step aside. We're going to get our break out of the way in the meantime. We're not going to go side by side. We'll take the break during the yellow. We'll be back with the restart after this. Stay with us.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Spartan Transportation and Spartan Logistic Management is your one source for all your shipping needs. 53-foot dry van shipments, auto transport shipments, full-service in-house brokerage, drop lot facilities, just-in-time deliveries to all auto manufacturers, facilities in St. Louis, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and Indianapolis, Indiana. Spartan Logistics LLC, proud sponsor of the IROC Series, Kyle Steffens UMP Modified and Silver Crown Driver, and Gordy Gundaker, World of Outlaws Late Model. Visit us at spartan-logistics.net or find us on...
How much signal I need to cut across 8 lane? None? I turn now. Good luck, everybody
Back at Talladega Super Speedway, finishing up caution number 2 as we are now just officially past the halfway point of tonight's race. Brian McCann will be out in front with Chris Wally on the outside. McCann used some pit strategy to take no tires to get out and retake this top spot for the restart. So he's out there with old rubber, but again, being out in front, don't necessarily need to rely on fresh tires to make those moves. Maybe a little defense. You got to watch that rear view mirror and who's coming up behind you. But if anybody can handle it on old tires, it's the driver, that number 3, and Brian McCann. Field makes its way into the tri-oval here as we're set for a restart. And green flag in the air. A rare connection issue for Brian McCann, but he gets underway. We got one question in the HBR TV chat, says, will there be another race? Well, not tonight. This is a regular season race for the IROC Challenge Series. But yeah, a week from tonight, we'll be at Homestead Miami Speedway with the Xfinity car. So if you'd like to tune in there. Plus, we got more action this week. We'll be covering the VRL Vigilante Racing League on Wednesday night. And then some more action coming up this Sunday evening for the Pro Sim Racing Alliance. So there'll be more races, just not tonight. Chris Wally noses out in front with the help from Neil Quick, pushing the 75 to the race lead. Wally seems to like the top lane here as he stays up for now. And wants to bring Neil Quick with him down to the bottom of the racetrack. They do it right in front of the 3 of McCann, coming back to start-finish. Tim Schofield has worked his way back up into the hunt as well to the outside in the black and yellow number 12. He's got the 9 of Adam Benefield closing up. Benefield all over the back bumper of the 12. Neil Quick looking for the race lead, drifting up the racetrack. Wally slams the door, and Schofield Down the racetrack, clips the 81 of Funkhauser, still no caution. The 12 hits the inside wall, yellow does not come out. Somehow everybody stayed clear enough that it does not trigger a yellow, so Schofield's gonna drop all the way to the back, and Funkhauser may be doing the same. He's got some damage. We'll take a look at it here in just a moment. Now we'll take a peek here just a moment ago. This was down the backstretch. This is the replay here. In fact, we'll slow it down just a tick. Quarter speed. I'm going to back it up. Didn't really get a good look at that. The 9 was pushing Schofield. Better angle here. And you see he's off center. You can push if you're dead nuts on the guy in front of you, but if you get crossed up, it's very easy to spin the other car out. But this was a pretty centered push, but looks like he gets the rear tires off the ground a bit for Schofield. Hard to do when you're trying to turn the wheel. Sends Tim in the path of Funkhauser, and the rest is history. Back live here, McCann out in front with 25, coming to 24 to go. Benefield in behind the 3, but Chris Wally and Neil Quick on the charge again. Here comes Jason Nilgis in the 20 as well. McCann going to make that 3 awful wide to the very last lap. It's going to be a challenge to get by without a lot of help. Through the trial yet again, coming to 23 to go. McCann leading the 9 of Adam Benefield with that outside line. Grouped up nicely, Wally in front, leading the top lane, Neil Quick in behind, then Jason Nilgis, Casey Bentz, and Koch further in behind Steve Durbin. Looks like equal numbers top to bottom here, but who's going to get straightened out single file the best? That's the lane that'll move the fastest. Every lap come through the trial on the outside lane seems to pick up a little bit of momentum. It sends the 75 further along. Not quite enough this time. Connection issues on the low side. I'm not sure if that was Benefield or Mears clicking out. Of all the places you do not want to have a connection problem, it's the Super Speedway, because as you can see as we watch this draft down the back straightaway, they're just inches apart. You lose connection and disappear. Everybody gets in panic mode behind them. Big time run for the low side this time by McCann, out to a few car length advantage over Wally, but again, another run out of the trial. The outside seems to gain a lot there, but unfortunately it's going to be too little too late. If that happens in the last lap, they're going to need to find a way to build a bigger run sooner. Because if you don't start picking up the pace prior to start finish, it's just not going to pay off. Looking back from Brian McCann at the rest of the field, see how close Benefield is. That's miles back compared to where you usually would see him. There it is again. Look at the outside, the 75. From 5-6 car lengths back to alongside the race leader. Just a big-time back-and-forth seesaw battle. Laps to go from Talladega Superspeedway. Wally inched out in front there down the backstretch here, switching things up a bit. One driver out of line. It's Jason Nile just in the 20. That's going to slow that top lane down. Wally's got a decision to make. Too late now. He could have dropped down in behind the 9. Stops to stay in front of the 2 of Neil Quick. In the IROC chat said, need an onboard shot. I don't know if that was after I did it. I didn't see it until just now, but I hope that's what you were looking for. Less than 19 laps to go. 3 wide for the top 7-8 positions. McCann still the race leader, and we're closing in on some lap traffic. It's going to be Funkhauser and the 12 of Tim Schofield. They are not that far ahead, and they're racing, so they're going to be very slow. By comparison, they have a little bit of a draft between the 2 of them, but nowhere near the pace that this big pack coming up behind them has. They're going to have to make a decision, go top lane or bottom, and they're going to split. One's going high, no, Funkhauser's going to drop down low. They got to figure this out because they're 3 wide behind them. Schofield takes the apron. This could get dicey. Schofield goes to the bottom of the racetrack, lets the leaders on by. There's no point in fighting them, but Funkhauser still ahead. Where is he going to go? Does he just stay in lane, let these guys go by? He drops it down to the apron of the racetrack before he exits the corner. Dangerous move, but he got out of the way in time. Still, 3 wide battle here at the front of the field. It's McCann, Wally, and now Nile just the top 3 cars in line, and they're all side by side for the top 6 positions. On board to the leader yet again. Bit of a bump there, upset Brian McCann's car, but he keeps it going down the track. Wally trying to side draft, trying to slow the momentum of the 3. He succeeds there. McCann slips back just a bit now. Does he have enough to stay alongside? He does. Builds the run back up into turn 1. Still 3 wide for the top 6 spots. We still got 16 laps to go. It's only going to get crazier. 2 by 2 by 3. Ever been to an air show? It's kind of the same thing. We just like to keep these ones on the ground. .5 laps remain. Chris Wally still doing a great job here near the front of the field now with the race lead. Big push from Neil Quick and Casey Bentz. Here comes the 45 of Todd Cleek. Wally's going to drop down now, gets in front of Brian McCann, officially new race leader out of turn 4. Will he hold it back to the stripe? He's got a ways to go. Big time push from Brian McCann, upsets the 75 just a bit. We're 3 wide for the lead. Durbin gets crossed up, but he keeps it straight. Cross start finish. Neil Quick may have been credited with that lap led. He continues on now in the middle. Nile just without a lot of help. Durbin could jump up and behind, but chooses not to. Can all over the back bumper of Chris Wally. Contact in the middle of the corner. If you want anybody pushing you, I would say sign me up to be in front of the 3. Chuck Sweeting blinking out just a bit there further in the pack. They fifth car in line on the inside. Meanwhile, McCann switched lanes, jumped up in front of Neil Quick, and retakes the top spot on the nose of the two. Back into turn one. Will he stay with Neil Quick? No, he can't, because Wally jumps up to the inside again. But Benefield not close enough to really help the 75 out of turn number two. He's going to lose some ground here down the back straightaway. Les Benefield tucks back up, and he does. New Quick in the 4. He's also there on the inside lane in that white and red number 4, the Kevin Harvick colors. Big move for the front of the field here. McCann jumps to the outside of Chris Wally, shuffles him into the middle. That could be dangerous for the 75. He may drop all the way back unless he gets some drafting partners to work with. Here comes the 20 of Nilgis. He should be saving him here. So does 36 of Mears. Now out of turn number 2 yet again. McCann jumping out front. Now we've got 3 lanes that are starting to get organized here, so the race winner, who knows, could come from any 3 of them. Benefield drops the car down just below that yellow line in the middle of the corner. Luckily, he doesn't shoot back up the track, but he's going to jump out to the race lead here. Luke Quick's going to push Benefield to the top spot out of turn 4. Will he stick it there? Middle lane seems to have more numbers, a little bit better right now. McCann, Wally, Nilgis, Mears at the stripe. The 3 is going to lead it with 12 to go. Benefield back out in front. Big time push from Nuke Quick. Nuke gets to the bottom. Nope, slams the door, does the 9. Wow, Nuke Quick getting racing there behind the 9 of Adam Benefield, but meanwhile he slipped back from first to third awful quick as Chris Wally retakes the lead. Right on board with the 4. Watch his maneuvers here in this pack. So if you watch closely here, what Nuke Quick is doing, you see him dipping way down to the left there, trying to do one of 2 things, if not both. He's trying to get a little bit of a sight line here around the 75 of Chris Wally, but he's also trying to get some fresh air into that radiator to keep that engine cool. The benefit of being in the draft is you can run a lot faster because the car in front of you breaks up that air resistance that you no longer need to worry about. The downside to it is that air also keeps the engine cool, and if it's not getting into the radiator, well, you got a problem. So Nuke Quick switching lanes. Now he goes up the top here, trying to get air on the other side. It's a whole lot more to it than just go fast, turn left. You got to pay attention to the gauges. You got to work the runs. Take care of the tires, make plans for fuel. And this is a fixed setup race, so you're not changing anything throughout the course of it. Some series, open setup, you can change literally almost anything on the car. Right down to adding tape. Coming to 9 laps to go, though. McCann and Wally continue to duke it out here at the front of the field for that top spot. Benefield below the yellow line again, entering turn 1. Gotta be careful as these tires continue to wear out. It's going to get harder and harder to save that race car if you do that. Wally Getting back to the inside, looking for the lead. Now the 45 of Cleek working into this mix. No help for the 45, though. He's got to find a partner. Meanwhile, Wally back out in front. McCann trying to find a way off the nose of Koch. Very beginning of this race, the outside was not the place to be. As we expected, with track temperature changing, tire wear increasing, things have changed. The outside seems to have come in. Again, side-by-side battle all the way back through that 8th and 9th position. Chris Wally shuffled out of the pack, jumps him down almost to pit lane, but he gets back up in line in front of the 9 of Adam Benefiel. I think Adam checked up enough to let him go back up, knowing that he shuffled him out of the pack, but meanwhile, Koch is going to drop down in front of Chris Wally, get clear. Now he's going to put his sails in the wind, try to go to the race lead, and he succeeds. Wally's going to push the 85 now, try and get up in front of Brian McCann, but he makes contact and almost spins Koch out, sends Koch down to the bottom of the racetrack, and now we got more contact. Now we got a wreck. Caution does come out. Josh Funkhauser around, Koch around, Neil Quick in this, Garrett Johnston in this. Somebody lost a hood tether. That thing continues to bounce. So I believe Funkhauser was a lap down at the time of this. Let's go back and see if we can get a look at it. It's already in play. Let's back it up. My favorite thing to do. Niall just gets the fence off turn number 2. Watch the number 20 in the top lane. He'll catch the wall here just a bit. That's going to break the momentum. Very similar to that first caution. Cleek's going to get into him because of that. You're right on top of everybody. Cleek gets crossed up. Little push from the 27 event. Sends him down into Funkhauser, which chain reaction sends him into Koch. Then Funkhauser is going to turn back up the track here and maybe collect somebody else. Can't tell if Pettit got a piece of that. Mefford gets by clear. Neil Quick trying to go down to the bottom of the racetrack to avoid. Gets into the 85. Now there's a Casey Bentz and there's a Joshua Mears in this race. And I wouldn't put money on it, but I'm almost certain that I've called the 36 Casey Mears at least once tonight. It's not Casey Mears, it's Joshua Mears, and it's Casey Bentz. So my apologies if I screwed that one up. I don't think it's the first time I've done it either. So coming to 4 laps to go, we might be getting the one to go this time, if not the next time by. So it appears that our top two are going to be Josh Mears and Chris Wally. Then Adam Benefield, Brian McCann, Jason Niles, Todd Kleek, Duke Quick, Doug Wysocki, Chuck Sweeting, and Matt Kopp. That's the top 10 as they work out of turn 2. Now let's see if anybody, turn 4. See if anybody drops down to pit lane here to top off. I can't imagine anybody's in a position where they need fuel. I don't know, Chris Wally working the bottom of the racetrack here, again trying to shorten up this lap as much as humanly possible. He might be close on fuel, it's hard to say. He made a pit stop at lap 26, but with a full load of fuel on board, I would expect 30 to 34 laps. And we've had a couple of yellow, I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. So there it is, we are on the 1 to go, so half a lap away from the restart. It'll give us 3 to go when we go back green, so it's kind of like it's a big brother green-white checkered, so it's a green-green-white checkered. Will not count towards our allotment of green-white checkered finishes today. As we started with 3, we still have 3, and we're going to have 3 after this as long as they wad them up before we get this thing figured out. Well, let's pray that's not the case. Get a 3-lap shootout to settle it. And on the front row will be Chris Wally, Josh Mears. But I'm telling you, any driver that's on the lead lap right now has an opportunity. Even the 60 of Adam Pettit back in 17th, he has a shot. Stranger things have happened. Remember Dale Earnhardt's last win at Talladega? Was it 18th to 1st with 3 to go? And that was without the big wreck. Pace cars in, green in the air. We're back racing. 3 to go from Talladega Super Speedway. Ooh, Mears got out first. Don't know if he'll catch a black flag for that. Restart violation, we'll see. Josh Mears out in front, Wally second, Benefield and McCann to the outside. Watch the 9 and the 3. Those two have been fast all race long. Adam Benefield and Brian McCann working the outside. Here comes Kleek and the 34, Doug Wysocki. So 4-car draft topside. Got the numbers on the bottom. Mears switches lanes, not enough room to do it. Opens the door for Chris Wally. Now they're 3 wide for the race lead. Coming to the stripe, it'll be 2 laps to go. Chris Wally, your new leader, but the outside with a major run. Adam Benefield works around Wally, but not enough to clear. They're in turn 1. Mears loses some ground, obviously not catching a black flag for that restart. I really would have thought Mears would have been in trouble for that one, but he gets away with it. Now just a bit of a bump from the 4, gets him crossed up. Meanwhile, Niles just all over the back bumper of Chris Wally. There is not even a bit of daylight between the front and the back. Not square. Got to be square to push in the middle of the corner here at Talladega. You're going to wreck the whole field. Off turn number 4, Wally trying to drive it back to the line here. 1 more lap to go. The white flag is in the air. Final lap from Talladega. 1 more to go. Caution won't stop us now. It's going to be a race all the way to the end. Niles just gets crossed up. Nuke Quick pushing the 20 with all he's got. Wally still with the lead. Does the outside have any momentum? The middle certainly does. Benefield with Brian McCann only pushing, and we got one car smacking the wall. That's Cleek. Cleek pancakes the backstretch wall, but continues on. We lose the outside lane. Couple more corners, and oh, big time contact and up the racetrack. Chris Wally almost out of the ballpark. Nuke Quick's going to take over the race lead, and will they catch him to get back to the line? Into the tri-oval for the final time. Matt Kopp working his way, looking to the outside. Nuke throws the block at the line. Quick wins it. Well, I've said it many, many times. Calling these races here in iRacing, I'm just glad that this is a sim, because that would have been a very bad ending if it wasn't. Take a quick look at it here just a moment ago. Big time wreck already underway. Jason Nile just getting into the back of Chris Wally in the middle of the corner. It was a square push. He was right dead center, but it got Chris crossed up, lost a little bit of momentum, so he wasn't clear to come back up the track, and you see the rest is history. Damage model getting a little carried away, but that's all right. Nuke Quick trying to celebrate, just pounds the inside pit wall. I guess that's all we're going to see for the donuts is out of the 4 of Nuke Quick. Might have hurt that car too much and hitting the wall there. So we're going to step aside here, get our final break out of the way, and get our top 3 in the broadcast booth. After this, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Basket can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around. We're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force it off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it.
They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Frisch on the bottom. Richard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
Spartan Transportation and Spartan Logistic Management is your one source for all your shipping needs. 53-foot dry van shipments, auto transport shipments, full-service in-house brokerage, drop lot facilities, just-in-time deliveries to all auto manufacturers, facilities in St. Louis, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and Indianapolis, Indiana. Spartan Logistics LLC, proud sponsor of the IROC Series, Kyle Steffens UMP Modified and Silver Crown Driver, and Gordy Gundaker, World of Outlaws Late Model. Visit us at spartan-logistics.net or find us on Facebook. Back at Talladega Super Speedway, this one's in the books and a thrilling finish that unfortunately for Chris Wally saw it evaporate through the final couple of corners. That allows Chris Quick to take the top spot and the race win, holding off Matt Kopp there to the finish. Let's get a word with the driver of the number 4. That's Chris Quick. It's Steve with Track Limits Network. You got us?
Yeah, I got you.
Chris, congratulations, man. A crazy race here. Of course, it's Talladega. These super speedways always tend to get chaotic in the final laps, but you were there. How did you avoid the chaos there out of turn 4 to take this win?
It's called luck.
It's more than...
Yeah, I'm just try to stay low and stay out of the way.
Well, you did a good job at that. You drove it home to the finish. After the luck part evaporated, you still had to look in the mirror and to see the 20 of Matt Kopp coming. How were you able to hold him off? Did he have any semblance of a run to catch you? Do you think you had that one locked up?
Yeah, no, I was definitely looking at my mirror, trying to make sure I stayed in front of him.
Oh, you pulled it off to the finish, crossed that line first. I think it's the only lap you led here today, but it's the one that mattered.
Yeah, I mean, I just tried to stay in the back, and for some reason I was trying to save fuel early on. Didn't realize there was a break point, but yeah, it worked out though.
All right, Chris. Well, a job well done here. We look forward to Homestead Miami Speedway next week. Certainly different type of racing we're going to encounter there. How do you feel about that place? You got chances maybe for a top 3?
Definitely not. I do better on the big tracks. The smaller tracks, I literally just try to ride around and stay out of people's way.
Well, Nuke, either way, it's a race win for you here at Talladega. No matter where the track is, you still win this one. They can't take it away from you, so congratulations. Who do you want to shout out to before I let you go?
I mean, basically my brother. I mean, he's the one that got me into this, and he's the one that's always helping me out with it. So, Neil, that's who.
All right, brother. Well, thanks for talking to us, man. Good luck next week.
Yep, thank you. Talk to you later.
It's Chris Quick, your race winner here at Talladega Super Speedway. Next, we're going to talk to Matt Kopp. Sorry, I said it was the 20. It's the 22. He's also the 50. So I guess that's his third number for the night. But let's get a word here with Matt Kopp, our runner-up. I guess you could almost say a surprise runner-up, but I guess it's not really surprising when things like this happen at the end of these super speedways. Matt, it's Steve with Track Limits. Do you got me?
Yes, sir.
Matt, congratulations, man. A runner-up finish after starting 14th. What was the key here today? We saw you get into a little bit of trouble here, of course, able to get the car fixed and back out there as most everybody had. But what was the key to success tonight? It didn't look like we were going to be focusing on you for a runner-up here tonight, but chaos ensued in 3 and 4. Walk us through that.
Yes, I think a big thing at these super speedways, obviously, is just being patient. Sometimes they get sent 3 wide too early, and I avoided a few wrecks. Luckily, I was able to avoid that last big one on the low side. I don't know how I did, and made a run at Nuke and got lucky.
Speaking of that run through the tri-oval, we saw you. It seemed like you were starting to catch him there, but did you have enough momentum to maybe make a charge? Maybe if there was a start-finish line a little further down into 1, or was it just not quite enough?
Yeah, I think it was a little farther. It was closer to 1. I may have had a good run coming up on him. When I first started, went outside, I noticed he moved up to block, which is what should be done, and it kind of slowed my momentum a little bit, but I think I had a little more distance. I might have got him.
Well, Matt, congratulations. The second place is the second place. Sometimes it doesn't matter how you got there. You look forward to Homestead Miami next week. A very different style racetrack. You're going to be running that high line. You're going to be down low.
I don't run it too often, but I think I usually try to stay up higher. There, it just seems to work better for me. So I'll probably next week go back to where I usually finish, about mid-pack, and just ride around and have fun.
All right, Matt. Well, congratulations on the strong run here today. Who do you want to thank before we let you go?
Just all my teammates, Charity Motorsports, the Meffords, Doug Wysocki, Garrett, Adam, Chris Wally for putting this on. It's a great league, and I enjoy every minute of it. And you for your broadcast.
All right, Matt. Well, congrats. Thanks for talking to us. Good luck next week.
Thank you.
It's Matt Kopp, your runner-up here at Talladega. Next, we're going to talk to the 57, Chuck Sweeting. He's having a good couple of weeks here. He was quite a bit further back in the pack with not a whole lot left in this race, but stuck to it. Chuck, it's Steve in the booth. You got me?
Hey, man. How's it going?
It's going good, Chuck. Congrats on a top 3 finish here at Talladega. You started back in the 17th spot, kind of rode around in the back for the majority of the day. We even saw you on the apron there with just a few laps to go. Did you have a problem, or were you just trying to stay out of trouble?
No, just trying to stay out of trouble. These guys up front were racing really hard, and I was just trying to wait as long as I could, but not be stuck in the back when it counted. And I got back up there after that last caution and kind of stayed there, and then the seas sort of parted turn 4 there at the end, and I was able to bring it home third.
Well, a job well done. Again, third place is third place. Doesn't matter where you start. It matters where you finish and how you got there. Somewhat irrelevant. You just took care of the race car. And I guess that's the old adage. If you want to win the race, you got to finish the race. And you did just that. So congratulations, Chuck. Job well done. Looking forward to Homestead next week. Again, a different style racetrack. We've kind of said that with our top 3. But how do you approach a track like Homestead, Miami?
I like Homestead. It's a challenging track, but it gives you a lot of options. You can run low, middle, high. But it's a lot of fun. It's very slick, worn out track, and that's a lot of fun for me. So I'm looking forward to it. So I'm thrilled to come out of here with the top 3 tonight, because I usually don't finish well at these big plate tracks. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back to real racing next week.
All right, Chuck. Anybody else you want to shout out to before I let you go?
Just thanks to the admins for all the work they do, and congrats to the to Newt Quick and Matthew on their top finishes as well, and thanks to the fans for tuning in.
All right, Chuck. Well, thanks for talking to us, man. Good luck next week.
All right, thanks a lot.
It's Chuck Sweeting, your third place finisher here at Talladega Super Speedway. That's going to wrap up the interview portion of tonight's broadcast. So let's take a look at our race results. Of course, we talked to our top 3: Chris Quick, Matt Kopp, Chuck Sweeting. Neil Quick finished in the 4th spot. Casey Bentz was 5th. Brandon Mefford came home in the 6th spot. 7th went to Steve Durbin. Garrett Johnston was 8th. 9th went to Doug Wysocki. Chris Mefford, 10th. Todd Kleek was 11th. Adam Pettit, 12th. Chris Wally went from looking at a race win to finish in 13th. Tough night for him. Jason Nilges, 14th. Adam Benefield was 15th. Brian McCann, 16th. Josh Mears was 17th. I can count. 18th was Tim Schofield. Mike Koch was 19th. And Josh Funkhauser finishes last in the 20th spot, 8 laps down. It's your race results here from Talladega Super Speedway, race number 7 of season number 9. Just a couple more races left in this segment before we move on to the Cup car yet again. But next week, that's the next race. It's going to be at the Homestead Miami Speedway. We'll see who's brave enough to work the top lane right up against that wall. That's the fast way around that place, but we'll see if it comes to fruition. And you can catch all that action here, youtube.com/@symbol Track Limits Network. Of course, that's the new handle if you haven't already figured that out. If you're listening to me right now, you must have found it somehow, so we appreciate that. If you haven't already done so, go ahead and hit the thumbs up, not just at HBR TV or Track Limits Network or however you see it, but also over at IROC TV. We're dual streaming here in 4K each and every week, so help those guys out too. Give their like a stream, give our stream a like. I'm losing it. I got to go to bed. Either way, thanks guys. We appreciate it. We'll see you at the next one. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.